Hey troops, GeneralJSmith here with the third in my MOC segment series. Now, I know it's been quite a while during my last segment series. Sorry about that. I'm not going to go through again the reasons why all this different stuff happening. Basically, it's been jammed to parts and bricklink orders and all this different stuff. If you do want to know, then I've mentioned it in quite a few of my previous updates. I've also mentioned in my last haul video. So, just watch one of those and you'll find out the full reason, because I'm not going to go explain it again. Anywho though, I'm finally back. Now I have got quite a few more bricks since the last time. You can see I've already done like a layer of the actual bricks we're going to be using. This entire MOC we built up with 2x4s, light brush grade 2x4s. Last time I was doing physical planning where we didn't need any of the actual bricks, but this time we are. This time, to do this segment, you're actually going to have to go to a bricklink store, or whatever, or pick a brick, or something like that, and you're going to have to go get the parts. And by the way, I am going to do soon a video showing the best way to fill your pick-a-brick cups with as many 2x4s as possible. I fit 164 2x4s in one brick. So I'm going to show you how to do that in future videos. But yeah, so then, what I'm actually going to do here, I'm actually going to see all these bricks in the bag, so I'm actually going to do a speed build, or a let's build as I call it, of me building up. Now obviously this is nowhere near as many as I'm going to, I'm obviously going to need a lot more of this, probably like double or something. So, it won't go very high then, it will not be the height. It's meant to be the height of the Clone Turbo tank there. So that's higher than the gunship, and it's higher than the 80TE. That's how high just the hangar is going to be. And then there's going to be command center on top of that, and then all this different stuff. But anyway, now check down in my video history, you'll see, I think 2 or 3 videos ago, I have done my final subscriber giveaway. Please do go enter that. It's completely free, you don't have to do anything, just literally answer the question of how many bricks you think are in that bag. Now don't actually use this video, because actually there are more, I've put more in there. But you will never know until the actual event. All I will say is below 1,000, so yes. Anyway though, so then, what I'm basically going to do today, we're actually using the proper bricks. And as I said before, the last segment was physical planning, just planning, mapping it out. If you're doing mountains or the base, just sort of mapping out the outline of it. But now we're going to really start to use the bricks and really get an idea of what's going to look like colours and how the colours are going to match up. How it's all going to work. Now, as I said before, I don't have all the bricks, obviously I need at least another 2 cups worth of grass to fill the entire section. You can't see the entire section, but but anywho, so without further ado, I think let's actually get started. I'm going to build this up a little. I'm not entirely sure how far it's going to go up, not as high as you may think. Well, you may think from looking at that bag, wow, it's going to go up really high the wall. It's not. Maybe, I don't know, it would be taller than a minifigure, but I don't know. But anyway, so then let's get building. Alright then, so here we are after my speed build. Now you may notice that things have drastically changed. Well actually, it's probably more than a day since what you just saw, the last clip you just saw. It's probably, I don't know when I did, 1 or 2 days ago. So yeah, but anyway, so it's like a few things might have slightly changed. I've added onto a few things. For example, obviously I made a partial roof, and then I started to build a bit of the command center. Obviously, it'll go on further. Obviously, it'll go to that big area as well. But yeah, so I've actually added quite a lot since I last recorded. Since I was doing a speed build. So sorry about that. But here it is. Then here's the product. This is every single 2x4 brick I have, and it may look like it's nearly done, but I need like another 6 or something. 2x4 like cups. I mean, like big actual 2x4. Oh, sorry, pick-a-brick cups filled with 2x4s to finish the thing, and not to mention like another 2 cups of grass at least. So yeah, it's gonna be a biggie. Clearly. What else? What is there to go through? Well, you can see here really the reason I have built up some areas and perhaps left other areas flat, because you may be wondering why wouldn't you just make the entire thing the same height, all the walls. The reason for that is because what you want in this section, it's not as much just building up and watching it grow. It's more trying to get an idea of it. This is the purpose really of this segment, is you want to get a more feel of it, looking how size-wise it's going to compare to, say, some of the other sets, some other things that'll be in here, colour-wise, how the colour will contrast with the sets and the grass and all that. So that's the reason, that's why you want to build up some areas to like the actual height of the base, and then leave some other areas completely flat. So yeah, really, that's the reason. So obviously feel free to just build your stuff and make each wall the same length. But for example, if you've got an idea, say you think, oh, that'd be really cool. Maybe if I just made this wall that high and then this wall that high, you may forget this idea in the future. So if you do it then, it's just more helpful really. And I have actually reached a couple of problems. If I actually take this on a tripod, I'm not sure what the true reason for this is. I think it's probably because of imperfections in the Lego, because even though Lego makes their bricks within like a billionth of a millimeter, well not quite that, but you get what I mean, they make them very, very close to the same. When you're stacking loads of them, when you're doing all this, after a while you start to develop faults. For example, this is obviously the big door area. There's going to be a massive sliding door that's going to obviously fill this gap, hence the plates on the ground there will be a massive sliding door. But so far this is the height of it. You can see here there are cracks along it. Quite a few cracks. Now this is a perfect example of where Lego, even though they do it very well, when you're putting quite a few bricks in this sort of formation, they can start to, just tiny imperfections, and perhaps like the level of the plates, how flat they are, the quality or whatever the bricks, and you can get these sort of things where it's just starting to curve, and before you say anything, no, I'm pretty sure that it's not just a case of like, oh well, I put one too, or I'm trying to stretch the bricks, or like I need to put another brick in here. This is the correct amount of bricks. It's just a case of the fact that, when you're doing this sort of thing, just these tiny little imperfections, just these tiny things you wouldn't notice. Like for example, if one plate is just a tiny bit raised more than the other plate, so it'd be bending upwards or whatever, and all these different things. So you want to bear that in mind, when you're trying to suspend something like this can be a slight issue. I mean, right now it doesn't look too bad, but I have had moments where it's simply, well, snapped. Like come apart, like, hang on, like so, where it would do that, you see. Because, yeah, really, you can see, as I try to repair it, other sections, start cracking. Yeah, so, there you go. And I'm not sure if you can tell that bend at all, but there is a tiny bend, a very, very subtle bend in this particular thing. Now, at first, I didn't think I was going to do this. Like, I thought basically, what was the point of it? What was the point in having this bar? I could just completely remove it, just have the door slide, and, what was the point in that? A few reasons. Number one, the top of the bricks don't look incredibly attractive, really, I think what's more attractive is just, like, smooth plating and stuff. But to avoid having to put plates on top of it, yes, obviously, yeah, it wouldn't cost a lot of money to do that, but nonetheless, if you can't really bother just to get out a few plates, to avoid doing that, you can perhaps, like, I can't really demonstrate this without actually having the door, but obviously I had to, like, break the door down to actually make this. So, basically, you know, you have the door, just imagine a massive slab of Lego, you know, and it's got the studs on top of it, which if we slide there, if this bar was not there, then you would see that sort of row of studs, and it wouldn't look very attractive. I mean, obviously it is Lego, so you get the point. You want to know it's Lego, but nonetheless. So what it's better to do is actually to have this row that actually covers the top layer, or you know, a bit of the top layer of your door. Also the fact that it keeps in place a lot more. When you're trying to slide it over, it's a lot easier to keep in place, you know, rather than it falling over or, you know, doing all that. Saying that, though, you do need some support on the other side, obviously, as it's sliding. I don't have any at the moment, but you will need to build, like, little things or whatever to make sure the door will stay in place as it's sliding and not veer off or not doing that. So, yes. What else, then? Oh, yeah, of course. Now, if you've just been watching my segments and no other videos I've ever made, then that'd be quite surprising, but assuming you have, you'll remember my last segment, there was no grass here, but there was an ATTE, which by the way is over there actually, yeah, and it was all broken down, because that's going to be part of the MOC, part of this MOC, in my thing there. You can't really see it, but that space is devoted to destroyed ATTE, that's actually what it says, and that's meant to be here. Now, what happened was, what you really want to do, I made a bit of a boo-boo, or the fact I put the, I broke it up, obviously, and put the ATTE down before I put the grass in. Now that was a problem, because obviously, in real life, the grass would be there first, and it just wouldn't look as accurate if you tried to put the grass around the ATTE. So what is always best to do, when you say you want to put a set on the ground, or whatever, if you've got grass, try to put the grass down first. Now, really, this only applies to when a set is destroyed. For example, I'm not going to put grass underneath that AAT. It's just going to be like, the grass is going to go around it. Because it's just different, really. But however, when I've got this destroyed stap here, okay, that is the grass I put on top, or underneath, and the stap is on top, you see. So, yeah, so I had to rebuild it, and also, another thing you may want to bear in mind, when you're destroying sets, because, you know, you want to make it like a battle scene, so you're going to have a couple of destroyed staps, a couple of destroyed sets, you know, around the place. For example, there's a destroyed bark speeder there. So, what you want to do as well, when you're destroying them, you're going to want to destroy them rather clinically, in the way that, you know, you don't want to just completely throw them on it, if you get my meaning. But what you want to, you know, take bits off. I mean, obviously make it look like a bit, it's a kind of haphazard, and it was just shot. Don't just take, like, oh, specific panels off, you know, but, you know, you want to take parts off which are going to be easy to rebuild, obviously where they go, you know. Don't bend these plates, don't do any of this. Don't just try to crumble it in your hands or whatever. You know, you got to really try and destroy it clinically, if you get my meaning. You know, destroy it in segments, in sections. So, yes. What else then? What else? By the way, just if you're interested, I've got all the sheet tubes I'm going to want for this MOC. I've got 21 actually. They may not sound like a lot, but like when they're all spread out on the battlefield, it's going to look more, obviously. Also the fact that, where have they gone? I've lost them. Oh, there they are. I'm going to have 20 of these guys, these Phase 2 clones from the Clone Turbo Tank. Problem is though, as I said before, these go for a lot on eBay and Bricklink. And to get another, I'm going to need another 18 of these to obviously get 20. That will cost me about £70 just for those, you know, so, and they're going to be more in the base. But I'll tell you more that later. Okay, let's get into this command center a little bit. Okay, so you can see here, again, sorry, you know, I sort of got a bit, as I said before, it's been like 1 or 2 days since I just did my building this, so I got a bit bored. But yeah, okay. Righty tighty. Okay. At first, my original idea, I just tried to reposition lights and stuff. You see that? That is the door of where the troops will come out. My original idea was to actually have this door going up the entire length, like the entire height of this thing. So you'd have these massive great doors that would slide, you know, You get what I'm saying there? I mean, actually, you've got a door here. This is a very simple door. And it quite simply slides. Oops. See, that's the problem. That's why you need supports and stuff to stop the door from moving as you're sliding. You need something to stop it there. Obviously, there's going to be 2 of these. And you watch from this side. See, it slides like so. And yeah. So that's going to be pretty cool. Now, the reason I just decided to cut this door down, well, mainly because it was a minifigure door, therefore it obviously didn't need to be big, but also the fact that you actually save a few bricks for trying to build this rather than just like having, you know, how to put this. It may seem a bit like you'd use the same amount of bricks anyway, because it's sort of like the same amount of space taken up. I think you actually use a few less bricks in making the doorway a bit smaller, yet just making the most of the doorway into an actual wall. So that's just a little tip I found out. Also the fact I personally think it looks cooler, looks better than just having a great massive door there. You know, which is, it kind of looks weird then when you've got a bunch of minifigures, like these tiny little things, coming out this great massive door. You know, so, yeah. What else then? What else? What else then? Oh yes, in building the MOC, in building this up, I did not, you see here, it's exactly like how a builder, like an actual builder in life, you know, would build a house. In the way they do not put bricks on top of each other in this way. You know, they don't just put like, oh, 2x4, 2x4, you know, don't literally just stack them on top of each other. And I think that's the thing that some amateur MOC builders may want to do. They may simply make a ton of these, you know, like columns, if you will, and then just stack them all around, like, you know, you know, and do that. That's not a good idea. I mean, yes, I suppose in theory it kind of works, but it's definitely not the most desirable thing. It's definitely nowhere near as sturdy. You know, if you knock it, you can easily just push a column down, so you don't want to do that. So it's far better to try and stack them like actual bricks on top of each other. Of course, this does raise the problem of the fact that that means you will need to, you know, bricks that will fill in the gaps, i.e., try and find, like, you know, these 2x2s, and if you don't know, these are the whole problem with the bricklink orders, and this is the whole reason that this segment is coming so late, because I couldn't get these, and, yeah, but anyway, so, you see here, okay, we've got 2x4s, but then you've got a 2x2 there to fill in the gap. So, I mean, generally it's a lot better if you try to get as many as the same piece as possible. That's always better. You know, try to get, when you're, obviously when you're building the wall, obviously it's different if you're trying to do detail and all this different stuff. When you're just building the wall, you want to get as many of the same piece as possible. You don't want a ton of 2x6s and a ton of 2x8s and a ton of this. You want to get as many 2x4s as possible, and then you're going to get a bunch of 2x2s to fill in those gaps. Hence, this is where your math comes in working out, you know, how it all works. So, yeah then. I can't really think of anything else in this particular segment. That might be it. Oh, by the way, yeah, I forgot it's right in front of me. Okay. Here you have the beginning of the command center. Obviously, again, this is nowhere near the actual. Don't worry, the command center will be considerably bigger. This is just like the front of it. It's just like it is going to come out and it's going to branch out into this massive area here. The gunship will be here, and yeah, you have to imagine a roof on top of this, obviously. Now, to do this. To make this particular roof, what you want to do, okay, look, here's a bunch of, hang on, I'm just trying to position this so it doesn't fall off. Okay, so, here, you can see there's a bunch of 6x14 light bluish grey plates held together by these connecting things. Now, one thing you want to make sure, when you're doing this, it's best to use the plates, like, the plates you're going to put underneath to connect it, and the plates you're not going to see, it's best to use the ones that you're not going to really, that look strange. Like, if you've got a bunch of pink or purple plates that you're not actually going to really use, don't want to be seen, use them for the connecting things, because you're not going to see them, and it saves bricks, you know. Don't use the bricks you are going to use in the actual things when you're not actually going to see them, if you understand what I'm saying here. Okay. So then, Now, as I've said before, I think I've said before, that when it comes to building walls, you know, like for example, this is 2 grey base plates long, this length. Now, you could get like a bunch of 2x4s, or you could get a bunch of 2x6s, or you could get some 2x8s. You know, what is better? Do you get a lot of smaller pieces, or a small amount of larger pieces? Which is better? In building walls, I said it's a lot better to get smaller pieces. It allows you for much more detail, and generally, obviously, it'll be pretty much the same price, because obviously, I mean, one 2x8 should equal the same price as 2 2x4s. It's just logical. In the same way, two of these 2x2s should equal the same as one of these 2x4s. You know. So yeah. So, but when it comes to building the roof, or at least flat roofs at least, when you're building it with plates, it's the exact opposite. You want the biggest pieces you can find. You want to get as many of these big 6x14 plates as it's physically possible. Because that means you'll need less of these connecting rods. Like, well, not rods, but you know, these connecting plates underneath to connect all the different things. Also, it means it'll be a lot more sturdy by having bigger plates. Because, trust me, the first things, like if you put a lot of weight on it, the first things that are going to go on the roof are not going to be actual pieces themselves. It's going to be connecting things between them. So you want to have as many of the larger plates as, you know, physically possible. That's what you really want to do. Now, also, you've got to try and, you know, work it out. Okay, so you've made your thing. Okay, now at first, I wanted to have, you notice these plates are arranged in a bit of a strange way, you know. Why don't you just put like, you know, a 6 here, you know. Why don't you just put them all the way right, same way round, is what I'm saying here. Now, the reason I didn't do that is because they didn't fit, quite simply. This is 20 studs across. Each one of these is 6 studs across. That, if you do the math, that means I would need 3 and like a 2, and that would just be, you know, a bit odd and whatever. So what you're going to try and do, you're going to try and work it out, try to put them in different angles to work out the best thing. And now, I've actually saved a lot of space. Or at least I don't have to buy nearly as many plates, because instead of just, you know, trying to put each plate in the same direction, you know, trying to put them the same way and trying to just fill in the gaps, I've tried to work it out. You put some plates in other directions, you know, do this different thing. And by putting one plate this way down and the other one this way down, I'm now filling up that space, and only with 2, you know, you get what I'm saying here. Just do that basically. Try to just do, you know, try to just maximize your plates. So yeah, as I said before, you know, each, by the way, you notice each single one of these plates, each single one has at least 2 connections to another plate. At least. There is not a single one here which doesn't have at least 2 connections to another one. So, yes. So yeah, and that gives you a really sturdy roof. However, this is only for small areas, really. Like this particular design. That's only, like, for this area of roofing, it's fairly small. When you're looking at this sort of an area, 2 grey base plates, you've got 2 options. One of which, you can do the same design, except you're going to have support, you're going to have pillars. I have seen people trying to use actual, like, bricks, you know, like 2x4 bricks instead of these particular plates. It doesn't really work, because obviously 2x4s are still rather heavy, and they will actually start to weigh it down. I mean, they will, and really don't support it that much more than the plate would, logically, because it takes up the same amount of area. I'm not sure if they're still quite with me, but hopefully you still are. Okay, so that's the reason, you know. So when you're, you know, if you do want to truly have plates over this sort of an area, you're going to need to have supports and pillars. Now, this is a bit of a problem if you want to fit like the clone turbo tank or an HTE and all these different things within the base. You'll have a big pillar here, which will make it harder to fit things, and yeah. The other option is a lot better if you want to maximize space internally, and that is to quite simply put down base plates, big base plates. I've actually got one. I've lost it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Now, this base is quite literally just made of 2, you know, extra large blue or grey plates, you know, whatever they're called. So, logically, you know, you can just get another 2 and stick them on top as the roof. See? Duh, duh. Now that's very good in it's very sturdy, obviously, as I said before. The actual plate itself, it's good to have the biggest plates possible. That's very good, very sturdy. It's going to support weight. However, saying that, one of the problems with this is the fact you can't stick it down in any way. There's no real way to ever position it, because you can see here, it's not like normal plates, you can't attach them. Saying that though, you don't really want to attach them. I have seen MOCs where they like leave the entire back and sides of it completely open so that you can look in, and which allows them to be able to actually stick down the roofs. Whereas here, I just simply place them on top instead of actually sticking them down, because I need to obviously take them up again. That's an idea, that's something you can do. I just more prefer it this way when it's like a full thing. But yeah. Probably the biggest issue with these base plates though is the fact it doesn't look incredibly good from, like, when you're looking on at it. I can't really give you a decent angle what I'm talking about, but like, it looks better when you're using plates. Oops. Yeah. I mean, obviously this is one of the issues of the fact that it's not built up. I tried to build up this side, but it didn't quite make it. I didn't quite have enough bricks. So yeah, and obviously one of the other main issues is the fact the entire base plate will need support to put it down. But yeah. Yeah then, so, I think that's basically it. I think there's one last thing I forgot to mention. I can't even remember it now. But yeah, I think it's basically, I'm sorry this segment went on a very long time. I don't know why it did. I hope it was interesting. I like to think that I did cover quite a lot of important stuff, This is really the starting of it. My next segment will not be coming until like my birthday, which is like the beginning of September. And a lot more will be done. I think there'll probably be like 5 segments, and then I'll have finished this. So, yeah. So I'm not doing like, a ton of segments every week or every whatever to try and whatever. But, there you go. There was something else, and I cannot remember it at all. Oh well. It'll come to me next week. Or whenever the next segment is. Probably the beginning of September. Thank you then for watching this update. Why do I keep calling that? This segment. I hope it was informative. I hope it helped you. And I hope you enjoyed it, obviously. Oh yeah, that was it. That was the last thing. What you may want to do, the reason you see these books here is because what I tried to do, where is it? Oh, you see that grey box there filled with, bricks. I put the books on top of it, try and support it, because what you want to do, you're looking at the top of this. I started on the beginnings of the command center, and as I said before, it will go into this area. This doorway is exact same design as that one. It's literally the exact same thing going on. These gaps you see here will be for the windows. If I can actually find a window. I can. Oh, I can. Okay. This particular window. I'm not sure I'm going to have it completely clear or like light blue, transparent light blue. I'm not sure. You decide. Do you want... Oops. Please leave down in the comments. These windows, which are obviously going to go around the entire thing, the entire thing. Do you want it to be completely clear or sort of like light blue, transparent, obviously? Because, I'm a bit on the fence. I think they probably go for the same amount, so, yeah. But anyway. So you may want to start sort of just thinking about that and other stuff. And I actually built another roof for this. And it doesn't have to cover the entire thing. It doesn't, like, have to. For example, that's the best way. And now I can add just this rod onto here. So you don't think you have to pull it up all the way and try to really cram it in and do the stuff, You can just think of the simplest method, to do it. And obviously, as I said, it will continue on like so. So you want to start prototyping. You want to start thinking of how you're going to do this, how it's going to look. I was a bit worried. There's just a bit too much light bluish grey. I mean, I prefer it to dark grey. Like, I can't even find anything dark grey, but I do prefer it. So, but nonetheless, and there's going to, by the way, just for interest, there's going to be like a little deck here. Well, not a deck, like, you get these barricades. There's going to be a barricade in front here where the troopers are going to run out and they're going to stand behind there and going to snipe down from there. It's going to look really cool. And as I said before, the command center is going to go in this area. I've said that like 1,000 times. But there you go. So the reason those books are there is because I put a base plate on top just to try and give a look. You know, just try and get a visualize of what it's going to be like. And that's really the purpose of this segment. You know, the last one was physical planning, where we actually mapped out the thing. Now we're getting to the full thing. Now we're starting to really see how it's going to look, what it's going to be like, and yeah. Also, by the way, I put these little things here, these like things going on, as opposed to like if I take these off. Oh, I can't take them off because the whole thing will break. But you know, you see those, so it sort of slides up, yeah? The reason I put those there, as opposed to just making like a 90-degree right angle, one, to make it look a little more, you know, substantial. Also, it actually sturdies the actual thing up a fair amount. Not a fair amount, but you know, it actually does do surprisingly well in sturdying it up. More well than I would have thought. So yes. But yeah then. Okay then. I think that's basically the segment. This segment's gone way too long. I'm so sorry. If anyone is still here, please write down in the comments whether you prefer these, you know, light, or whether you want these completely clear windows, or whether you're going to want the light, transparent blue windows. Which one will you prefer? But yeah, that'll be it then to this segment. As I said before, the next segment will be coming at the beginning of September. Don't worry, there's a lot more videos to do. Please go check out my Fire Subscriber giveaway. I'd greatly appreciate it if you did that. You know, I want you to go enter. Don't worry, it's completely free if you enter. You don't have to do anything. I'm hoping it'll end by the time, you know, Christmas comes around, and hoping to get 750 subscribers. Hopefully that will happen. And please go enter that. And yes, okay. So thank you then for watching. Please like this video if you did like it. Please comment on what I said there, and obviously please do subscribe to our channel if you want to be entered into that giveaway, and it's really cool for some really cool prizes. But that'll be it then. Thank you guys for watching. I see you in the next video. I'm sure there's probably something else I've forgotten, but I'll have to mention it next time. Bye, troops.